Thanks very much. Good afternoon to all the LIASA colleagues that have joined this webinar. And I just want to welcome you all to our last RETIG webinar for 2023. My name is Leanne Brown, and I'm the current chair of the RETIG, which is the Research, Education and Training Interest Group of LIASA. It is lovely to see so many of you here this afternoon, and I hope that you do enjoy this webinar. The theme of today's webinar is Bibliometrics and Altmetrics, which are two concepts that would be familiar to those of you who are working in academic libraries or academic departments. And academic librarians, as you know, we support our academic staff through the retrieval of research metrics in order to calculate their research impact. Our speaker today is someone who has conducted research in this area, and we look forward to his insights on this topic. Without wasting any further time, I'm going to hand over to my chair-elect, Mr. Marupeni Ramabena, who will then introduce our speaker. Marupeni, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, colleagues. I will quickly introduce our speaker. Our speaker today is Prof. Onyancha, who is the research professor at the Department of Information Science, University of South Africa. Prof holds a PhD in Library and Information Science, and Prof is a C2 National Research Foundation SA-rated researcher. Prof served as a deputy librarian at the University of Eastern Africa, Baraton, Kenya, from 1994 to 2006. His areas of research interests include infometrics and scientometrics, information and knowledge management, science communication, and knowledge mobilization. Prof. Onyancha has explored these areas of research interest in order to advance the academic and societal understanding of how information and knowledge are created, disseminated, and utilized in various contexts. Furthermore, Prof's research has provided insights into the impact of information and communication technologies in information processing and use, the role of metadata in information retrieval, and the importance of knowledge management in organizational performance. If you want to see more of Prof's research, there's a link on ResearchGate where all his research available. Prof is joining us today live from somewhere in Kenya. Thank you very much, colleagues, and Prof, you can take over.
Thank you so much, colleagues. I'm so sorry that we are starting a bit late. The issue was that I assumed I had a link to the webinar, but somehow I realized that I did not have that link. So and Marupen has just sent it to me, and I do appreciate every colleague that has made it possible for us to be here. Lynn, when Lynn approached me, I couldn't say no, even if I knew that I was going to be in Kenya. And I didn't even know exactly where I will be, but today I'm in my hotel room where we have been working from with a group from UNISA. So it's good to see a number of you attending this webinar. And as I've said, I apologize again for starting late. And instead of going into the details of, so much detail and wasting more time, I will want to start off by sharing the presentation that I'm going to make. And the presentation is titled Navigating the Rising Research Metrics Tide opportunities for academic librarians in the 21st century. Now, I am I am told that there could be public librarians in the midst of us, and I'm also told that there could be researchers also joining us. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to this topic broadly so that it includes or it doesn't exclude anybody who is in the room. The idea of bibliometrics and infometrics, and altmetrics, is a new phenomenon. Although it has been there for long, it's a new phenomenon that has just come into space. The spaces of individual researchers, the spaces of individual librarians, and the spaces of even funders and government. And as such, it's good to see that we have got an interest in this area. And Lynn, I want to appreciate that you thought about this area for us to speak to it. This is the agenda for today. The agenda is, it looks long, and I think it is a bit long, but I'm going to cut it short in a way as we go through. And if you are hearing me perfectly well, please, colleagues, I wish to see some kind of confirmation. Lynn, I hope that I'm audible enough.
Yes, you are. You're
Okay.
audible
Thank
enough,
you.
and we can see your presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, if I disappear even for a second, please know that I'm here, but the communication is the problem. And you let me know immediately after that, please. And so,
yes, I will.
okay, thank you so much. And so I'm going to start by just looking at the evolution of academic librarianship and library services, how we have changed and what we need perhaps to do in view of that change. You may hear some little noise in the background. I'm sorry about that. But I believe that it will be okay as long as you can get me. The emergence of infometrics as a new service within the librarianship profession. I'm going to talk about the nomenclature or the labels associated with infometrics and the application of infometrics in research evaluation and release practice, innovations in measuring science and scholarship in terms of citation databases and altmetrics sources. Then I will take you through the bibliometrics, infometrics support services in libraries. And finally, I'll talk about, I will take you through one source that I often use, that is Google Scholar, and through the publish or perish software, just to demonstrate how one can easily use those sources. I know that you do use Web of Science. Some of you have used Web of Science. Some of you have used Scopus, which are the mainstream citation databases. And therefore, I'll concentrate on Google Scholar, and especially using the publish or perish software. And then I'll make my conclusions. Now, I want just to start here because these changes in nomenclature for LIS schools reflect how librarianship has changed over time and also has got a bearing on the way we go about our services and our business of librarianship and even in information science. We have seen a change of even the name of schools and LIS programs from pure librarianship in the 1930s to between 1930s and 1960s to library science or studies in the 1970s and 1980s, and then to library and information science between 1980s and 1990s, 1990s and to 2007 or 2010, And even beyond, a little bit beyond that, even up to now, we do have information science. But there have been changes from 2008 to where we have seen information management replacing information science, and even information studies becoming very common. Now, all these changes affect the way we do business in our profession. And it also reflects how we have also changed along the way. And those changes, I must say, while there are several motivations for that change or for those changes, the main reason is to align our programs and services to global developments, courtesy of technological advancements and users' needs, as well as other providers. We notice that other providers have also come into play, and that has changed the way we look at things. Now, Google Scholar has come into play and provides a very huge library of resources. And that has also made us look for ways of competing or supplementing or complementing the Google Scholar and other services. That's what I mean by other service providers coming on board. We have also seen technology change the way we do things. For instance, before 1995, the library was almost purely paper-based. But things have changed, and we have gone through library 1.0 between 1995 to 2005. And then we moved on to library 2.0 between 2005 and 2010, library 3.0 between 2010 and 2015, and library 4.0 in 2015 to 2020. And I think we are still in library 4.0, though some people believe that we have entered into library 5.0, which is aligned to what is it called? The 5 IR, Industrial Revolution number 5, which people have also said we have entered. Others are saying, no, we are still in the 4th Industrial Revolution, and we have not yet come into the 5th Industrial Revolution. And that is a contested area. But if you look at the things that have also grown with us from paper-based library services to the online and intelligent library services, if I may call them that, you'll notice a lot of changes that have happened due to what I can call technological advancements. And these technological advancements will include even up to AI. Now, if you look at the lowest at the bottom, although it was around 1995 up to about 2000 there that we had card catalogs, that has also changed, and we did have automated or online catalogs. And going forward, I'm just wondering, how will artificial intelligence change the way we do things in libraries? Will the card catalog, for instance, which was there before, which has changed to online catalog, be affected by the AI? And to what extent does AI affect the catalog, for instance, the online catalog, for instance? Will I walk into an office or even a library, go to where there is a computer placed or a robot, and ask, where is a book on information literacy? And the robot in the library takes me around and gets the book from the shelf and gives it to me. I mean, I'm just wondering whether we will one day get to that, and what will that portray as an effect on library services? So, but what I'm trying to say is that things are changing, and because these things are changing, librarianship, I think, has also changed, and the library services have changed. And because of that, library workers, we need to adopt and adapt to the situations that we find ourselves. And equally important, which I must also say, is that the user needs have also changed. You remember, for those who are my age mates there, or even a little bit younger, or even older, you will remember that when we became librarians early in the 1990s, in most cases, you will find that most of our services were one-on-one, where user needs even to, where users used even to come for reference services. And those reference services, they could come to you in person. There was a reference desk where they could ask you questions, and then you take them around, you show them where they can find a book. And you see, they used to ask, where can I find a certain book? And you rise up from your desk, you take them around. But things have changed. And this table shows you the changes also that have happened in libraries. Like, for instance, from the mid to late 1990s, things were almost purely one-on-one and telephonic at most. But after 2000, we had things move online and digitalized. And therefore, in terms of interlibrary retrieval, information retrieval, reference services, interlibrary loan, collection management also has changed greatly. Technology that we have in the libraries has changed tremendously. Instruction and outreach equally the same. And these are the things that are going to affect us even in terms of the provision of bibliometrics services in academic libraries and other libraries. And collaborative spaces have become more common in libraries, and special collections have been digitized, and user engagement has become more of personalized and personalized services and in terms of content. So I just wanted to pick this and show you that things are changing, and if we don't change, I want to believe that if we are left behind, people will find alternatives. And as such, we need to make sure that we are up to date in terms of our services. And so, having said that and having shown those services that have changed, we realize, and I've come to notice, that bibliometrics is the new kid in the block in terms of the services that we're offering in libraries. And this has only emerged very recently, where library services have become, where bibliometric library services, if I may call them that, have become very common in libraries. And if you look at this is a research that we conducted around 2017, which I need to kind of go back to. Bibliometrics was not in anywhere among the 30 top keywords in LIS research before 2011. But after that, we have seen it emerge to be one of the keywords in most of the research papers, which shows an interest in bibliometrics, not only among LIS academics, but also even LIS practitioners. And this is very encouraging, because we see the use of bibliometrics in libraries as a major service, or as a major service area for librarians, and also for researchers as a research area. Now, I have noted that bibliometrics is now associated, if you look at the number one ranked topic there is research. And therefore, if you connect those two, you will see that the application of bibliometrics in research is one of those areas where bibliometrics is very visible. And also even in academic libraries, which is ranked in number 2. So you will see some kind of connectedness between bibliometrics, academic libraries, and research, and research, and also even in information literacy and knowledge management. Because all these, when you combine them, you will notice that bibliometrics is actually also used in knowledge management, and even as an information literacy program in academic libraries and other libraries. Now, I wanted to show you something here, but I think I made it upside down. But let me just try to see if I can be able to show you. What I have done is also to map author-supplied keywords in LIS research, just to show you how bibliometrics has emerged to be very strong area of research and also of practice. And together with Altmetrics, you will see that these two have actually become areas of research and areas of practice, and very prominently so, apart from knowledge management, information management, social media, academic libraries, and university librarianship and knowledge sharing. And on the right-hand side, I've isolated Altmetrics and Bibliometrics, which are linked to citation metrics, citation analysis, scientometrics, and even the internet and the research evaluation and collaboration. So this shows you the prominence of these bibliometrics in our field in LIS research, especially in South Africa. Now, I want to show you, and sorry, before I go there, there's at the bottom right on that screen, I have indicated that there are some recent developments. One of them I've already mentioned, increased bibliometrics research, but I want to show you an example of the second one, bibliometrics jobs emerging in academic libraries. And this is one example where we have, a few examples where we have got bibliometrics librarians or bibliometric librarians who are in charge of bibliometrics being employed or being engaged in libraries. At the top, some of the titles that have been given to them is Data Services Librarian in the University of North Carolina, librarian in the Northwestern University at Chicago. But I want you to look at the one in Stellenbosch University, which is the second from the bottom, which is librarian, research impact and research commons. That is one example that is very local. I don't know about others, like UCT, I don't know what they call them, but one that struck the importance of bibliometrics as a position in libraries, bibliometrician as a position in libraries is the one that is labeled Bibliometrics and Research Impact Librarian at the University of Waterloo. And I will give you, and I will show you how what that librarian is supposed to do, what the skills are, and it is a very elaborate kind of position or elaborate list of skills, which I will just show you shortly. Just to skip a few of these slides so that I may come to this. Look at the qualification in terms of educational qualification. It says that that person, and I'm using that last example of a librarian, that's bibliometrics and research impact librarian at the University of Waterloo, at the Waterloo Library. The academic qualification or educational qualification is a Master of Library and Information Science degree. Now, why masters? This is a very high skilled job or position in a library, and therefore a master's degree or an honors plus kind of some experience may be very prevalent. Now, look at the experience. If we look at the experience, let's just read through a little bit of it. This person must have demonstrated experience with the different bibliographic data sources, having citation tracking capabilities, like Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar, Altmetrics.com, and patent databases. Knowledge of and or experience with bibliometric software, such as Insights and Shiver. Shiver is a tool, but sometimes it's called a bibliometric software. We have got other bibliometric softwares like VOS Viewer, like Pajek, like others, like I think I've forgotten the exact name, but I will give you the names as we go. Demonstrate experience with the mathematical and statistical methods associated with bibliometrics. Not all bibliometrics are highly statistical, but majority are. And we will come back to that and answer a few questions on that. Excellent communication and diplomacy skills, I think that is very general. Ability to take initiative, create opportunities, and develop effective partnerships. Able to work independently and as part of a team. I think I should skip that. I should go to knowledge of issues related to research identification and experience using researcher profiling systems such as ORCID, Researcher ID, and others. Data management, manipulation, interpretation, and analysis skills. Now, information analysis and synthesis experience. And lastly, reference management software expertise in tools such as RefWorks. These are the experience part of the qualification that the person needs to have in order for that person to be a bibliometrics and research impact librarian. Of course, not everything here is very possible, but all of it not possible. But I'm not saying it's, we don't think that everything here is impossible, but we can also not take it for granted that all these skills can be in one person at a time. Others, we can develop them as we go, especially for those libraries that may want to employ a bibliometrics and research impact librarian. Now, let's look at the technical aspects. One is that you need to have comprehensive knowledge of bibliometrics and other research impact measures. Depth from the metrics and issues of individual researchers up to and including institutional level metrics. Breadth, that means knowledge of bibliometrics and other research impact measures and how they impact or are effective or non-effective for all disciplines and subdisciplines. You need then to, or you also need to understand the issues related to appropriate use of bibliometric tools and softwares. Demonstrate knowledge of basic and derivative metrics, knowledge of other methods or approaches to measuring research impact in fields in which standard STEM bibliometrics are not a good fit. So you need to, and this is very important, colleagues, I must add and emphasize that some disciplines, you may not use citations to assess the research impact. Some may require what we call case studies. Others may require some narrative or even opinion poll. When we use citations in some fields, we may not use citations in others. And that kind of knowledge on when to apply and what not is very important. Let me skip this so that I may now come to the nomenclature, meaning that now I define bibliometrics and other associated metrics. Now, bibliometrics is a set of methods to quantitatively analyze academic literature and scholarly communications. And we do have a very big overlap between or among all these terms. And you will see that even the definitions, actually, sometimes they sound to be the same. Is because sometimes and oftentimes these terms are used interchangeably. Infometrics is the study of quantitative aspects of information. While the first one is about literature and scholarly communication, the next one is about aspects of information, all aspects of information from creation to use. Scientometrics is largely applied in sciences and scientific research, while webometrics is applied on the web. Cybermetrics used to be exclusively applied on the internet, but webometrics of late is also being used to do work on the internet. So the two tend to be used interchangeably. Libriometrics is a set of methods to quantify, to quantitatively analyze availability of documents in libraries, their use and impact. And this is something that we have used previously, especially for weeding purposes. Some books on the shelf that have never been used, when you look at the usage statistics, you tend now to investigate when you look at uses statistics and find that certain books are not commonly used, or they have never been used even once. What we used to do is to consider that book either not useful, or it is hidden in such a way that it cannot be found, or there's something about it that is making it not usable. And then we analyze those statistics to make a decision on whether to to clear it from the library or not. And that is what we call bibliometrics, those metrics that you generate from the library to assist you to make decisions about your library, the management thereof, the collection development, and even weeding and all those other matters. Those metrics, we call them library metrics. Patentometrics are metrics associated with patents, the use of patents, the productivity of patents, the citation of patents, and everything else. Altmetrics is a word that comes from alternative metrics. Now, people have been, for a long time, people have been arguing that citations are not the best to use, and we need other metrics to supplement or complement that. And altmetrics was generated or was coined around 2010 to measure any impact that cannot be captured by citations. Like, for instance, if somebody downloads your paper, the assumption is that that paper was appealing to that person, and that person may have read that paper and may end up not citing it, but that paper may have some impact on that person. And that's why altmetrics were proposed. Let me now just give you the relationships between all these metrics in graphical format. We at the center there, we have got altmetrics. Close by is webometrics, and there are some overlaps between the two. Then all that they are under the umbrella of cybermetrics, which goes beyond just the World Wide Web and social media, but includes other matters. Bibliometrics has got almost all this, but also not everything in cybermetrics. And then we have got scientometrics, which overlaps with the bibliometrics. And then the overarching or the most broadest term is infometrics. If we use the indexing, not the indexing, but the indexing and the cataloging, classification language, is that the broader term here is infometrics, while the narrower terms are bibliometrics, scientometrics, cybermetrics, altmetrics, and webometrics. Now, I will not be telling you so much about, because I've already defined every one of them. What I'll do is just to skip this for the sake of time, and then move on to this one. Now, how do we then therefore apply infometrics in research evaluation? I think this is one area that many of us find it difficult to do, and therefore I'll just go through a few of the slides, and then I explain myself on how we can do this. Now, the first part that I will look at is why research evaluation. Now, this may help us understand. This will help us understand how to apply bibliometrics. The first part is why research evaluation, because bibliometrics is largely applied in research evaluation. And why do we conduct a research evaluation? One is that we conduct a research evaluation for advocacy purposes, meaning that you have got to show that you have done something for you to get something. For instance, if you go out there to sell yourself, you need to show that you are good enough for those people to support you, especially in terms of research investment. Otherwise, if you don't show that you are good enough, using certain metrics to show that you are good enough, then even research investments are likely not to come your way. Now, then there is what we call allocation. Now, so many people are looking for a way of getting grants, and the grants are becoming less and less, and the competition is becoming very stiff. So for us to allocate funding, you have got to show that you are better than the other person. So that allocation is based on your performance in terms of research, productivity, and research impact. Then there's accountability. When you are accounting back, or you are reporting back, you need to show how you have been impactful, how your research has performed, how you have performed as a researcher, to account for the whatever investment that was put on you or was declared on you. Now, on this one, I think, colleagues, you have heard about this. You have heard about this phrase that is on something goes like return on investment. This is where we talk about accountability, that we should have return on the investment we have put on you or we have put into your research, and that you do that kind of explaining yourself by using, by being accountable for that research grant that you receive. Lastly, we do research evaluation for purposes of analyzing and understanding how science works and how to shape it. And all this cannot be done without the assistance or the support of academic librarians or librarians in general. What are the research needs? Now, the researchers' needs are actually within these four areas: in advocacy, in allocation of funding, in analysis, accountability. Researchers will come to you to ask you for specific information that will help them justify any of these four areas, and convince those that they are accountable to that they are doing research and their research is above board, and it can be, and therefore they can get more funding. The other thing is, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders include funders, institutions, and governments in terms of allocation of funds, funders, researchers, and institutions in terms of advocacy. So funders will go to other higher funding agencies, researchers will go to funders, and institutions will go to funders and sell their ideas, advocate for more money, so that, and using the metrics that they have accumulated. And then we have got researchers who also need to, in terms of accountability, we have got the stakeholders are researchers, institutions, funders, and governments. And lastly, who do the analysis? Everybody does the analysis for different types of reasons. Now, let's look at what the NRF, I want to show you examples of the requirements which are related to bibliometrics, and where librarians or academic librarians and other librarians can help. Now, if you look at here, I think I don't know whether you'll see my cursor. There is something they call potential impact and outputs. Now, this one is when you are applying for funding, they want to ask you, what is your potential impact? And when you are reporting back, you report that potential impact, and you report your impact, not the potential impact now, you report the impact using this two areas of research impact. One, knowledge impact, and two, societal impact. Knowledge impact is largely known as scientific impact, where we talk about where your research has advanced scientifically, has had scientific advances or benefits in terms of understanding, interpreting, methods, theory, application, and other related advances. But societal impact is the benefit to society, how your research has changed society. And these two are the broad categories of impact when you are reporting back. And so librarians can help in these two areas. For instance, societal impact, we sometimes take views, downloads, tweets, and others, that's Altmetrics, to show or to showcase societal impact, while citations are used to showcase knowledge impact. Because of time, I just want to quickly go to the mandate that has come from the government of South Africa in recent times. Around 2015, the government of South Africa came up with a clause in their research subsidy policy. Subsidizing research in South Africa, there was a change in policy in 2015. And that policy said that while previously they were talking about research productivity, going forward, they'll be talking about research impact. And this has put pressure on researchers. And researchers are now turning to librarians for the support, so that they may report on their research impact for purposes of subsidy in the future. For now, it has not been implemented, but in future, it's likely to be implemented. And this is why I'm saying that librarians have got then therefore to adapt to new developments like this one, because if we don't adapt to do this, somebody else is going to give the researchers this information, and librarians may not be very, very relevant to the researchers themselves. Okay. What about institutional frameworks? At the University of South Africa, there was a recent development where we developed a UNISA Research Excellence Framework. And one of the areas or one of the roles of researchers in implementing that framework is this part, which I've highlighted at the bottom. I want to leave the others. I want to leave the top ones and come to the bottom there, those 2 points. Researchers are supposed to manage, monitor, analyze, and report their impact, or the impact of their individual research as may be required by UNISA. And there was a proposal we proposed that it should be twice a year during performance reviews. And this is being implemented in a way when a researcher says, I have scored 5 or I've scored above 4 in research, one of the questions they asked is, and what was the quality of your research above the productivity? And therefore they will turn to librarians for support. And that is at UNISA. I don't know other universities. The second one is to demonstrate impact of research during the application for research grants, tenure, and promotion. I've seen recent calls for grant application at UNISA. There's a section where you show your performance in terms of citations, in terms of views, in terms of altmetrics, and of course the other metrics. And they ask you to state how you are performed, and on that template, you are supposed to complete certain sections. Those sections, library support is very important for UNISA's staff members to do that. Let me ask Lynn, how long do I have again? How long do I go from here?
Yes, Prof. Onyantra, yeah, you're doing fine with time. It's 20:02. You can still go on till, let's say, another 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
At the most, I would say. Thank you.
All right. No, okay. I'll try to finish before those 20 minutes. Okay. So examples of specific areas of application of informatics. One is where a researcher or an institution comes to you and asks, what is my productivity? How have I done? And that question, you only need to go online, go to the databases, download statistics on the number of research articles, number of conference papers they have produced. I mean, they have produced, yes, books and patents of a particular author or group of authors, country or region. And that is possible to do with electronic databases. The second one is they may come and ask you, of course, in our discipline, how are we doing as a discipline? Is the number of publications or documents and patents in a discipline or geographic area again? And all these are areas that you can apply your bibliometrics to support researchers and research within an institution. And largely is either the number of publications or the number of citations or the number of alternative metrics or the use of alternative metrics to answer those questions. Sometimes we use percentiles, sometimes we use the average number of papers per researcher if it's an institution. So it depends on how you want, what is the question that is posed to you. But these are areas that you can comfortably apply infometrics, including bibliometrics and scientometrics to support research. And I got this I got this information from that source that there was a paper that I published with the same title as this presentation, that is Navigating the Rising Metrics Tide in the 21st Century. That paper can then help you to understand the areas in which you can apply infometrics and bibliometrics. Now, I will skip this one, although I want to emphasize this, that questions may come from institutions or research groups, and or a scientist or or a country or a journal. From a country or a scientist, no, from a country, especially a country, it may come to you as one of the consultants. And this one, I've seen people now getting paid to do this work. Like, for instance, there's a center in Stellenbosch University that is under the leadership of Professor Mouton, Johannes Mouton. He has had these consultants with the government, and the government asks him to do certain specific tasks related to scientometrics and bibliometrics. And he does that, and the center is paid for that. So that is, if you can convert this into, I'm not encouraging it, but why not, into a business kind of venture when you are good at what you do. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, even a scientist can come to you, but I'm not going to ask that colleagues, when I come to the library next time, that my own library at UNISA is going to charge me for doing certain, for asking for these metrics. That's not what I mean. But I think what I'm saying is that there are opportunities to turn this into a business venture. Okay, application of infometrics in LIS in our libraries, I think I mentioned that. I shouldn't be repeating, but what I would say is this, that you can conduct evaluative studies for research funding and training programs. You can also use infometrics for indexing, abstracting, and collection development. In collection development, there is a law, a bibliometrics law, which says that we are not supposed to collect everything, because not everything is relevant. So, and they say that only a third of what is published in the world satisfies almost all the needs of researchers and academics, and even our clients in libraries. So that law, which is called the Bradford's law, you can use it, which is an infometrics law. You can use it for collection development. What else should I use here? I mean, what else should I talk about here? I think the other thing that I will talk about is that one of weeding. I think I mentioned that statistically, that anything that is not used requires that you investigate, and I mean, used in the library, it requires that you investigate, and if it is not found to be worth storing in the library, you can use in the metrics to make a decision in the library. And for that, on that note, I must say this, that informatics, all the metrics you generate, they may not necessarily tell the entire story, but they will help you make decisions. And that's why informatics is something that is regarded as a tool for decision making and policy formulation. And it is just like giving somebody information to help him make a decision on what next to do in his life or her life. Now, I come to the last part, which I think every librarian knows, but I just want to mention this. I want to mention this because I want just to say, what are the citation indexes that we do have, our databases? We have very many of them nowadays. We have got Web of Science core collection, which has got the Science Citation Index, Social Sciences Citation Index, and all the others, even the book citation index and the conference citation index in it. We have got BioSys Citation Index, Data Citation Index. We have got INSPEC, Korean Citation Index. Others are regional, like the Korean Citation Index and even the Indian Citation Index. We have got Scopus, and we have got also Google Scholar, which has become very, very popular among researchers. But I'll give you this, I will share this with you, and I think then you can go through it and navigate and explore by yourself how these things work. And if you hit a snag or you hit a wall, then we can talk about it, and then we can show each other how all these whatevers work. I think these ones I've just mentioned. Because of time, I will go to Altmetrics sources, and these are altmetric.com is a very good usable database or portal where you can get Altmetrics data that will help you make decisions. Dimensions is also another one. Altmetrics, you need to subscribe. Dimension is the same thing. Impact Story of late, it's not free, but it used to be free. And the PLOS databases or PLOS journals or PLOS what is it called, publications. All of them, they have had an embedded Altmetrics in it. So when you click on an article, it brings up all the metrics, all the Altmetrics that go alongside that article. And so if a researcher asks you about how they are performing, you can ask for the list of articles and you calculate the Altmetrics thereof. Now, what about the social networks? We have got ResearchGate, academia.edu, getcited.org, and ssrn.com. All these provide different types of metrics, social media metrics that give rise to the evidence or demonstrate the evidence of impact of research. Now, I'm almost done, and I want to talk about how then, therefore, can we support as academic librarians? How can we then, therefore, support? Which support services can we give to academics or researchers? I have listed a few, and there are many. We need to do a few of this. More of this, or one or two or more of this. And one is to create awareness of different metrics yielding tools and software. Identify and suggest the most relevant, highly quality journals. I've seen others actually list the journals that are of high impact factor in some institutions, especially outside of South Africa. I've also, especially outside of South Africa, because South Africa, it seems like because of the list of accredited journals, they don't normally have these lists of high quality journals or the most cited journals on their websites, but they have got instead the list of accredited journals. But other countries, they have got what we call the journals with the high impact factors. Those are the ones that they display on their websites. Provide information on the type of metrics that can be used for specific research related purposes. Explain the meaning of the most critical metrics that are appropriate for research evaluation of individuals and also even countries, like H-index, the RG, the ResearchGate score, the G-index, and other measures. We need also to explain the meaning of bibliometrics and other methodologies associated with the bibliometrics, conduct and publish bibliometrics among ourselves, advise researchers and the management teams in charge of research in their respective universities on matters such as how to maximize the impact of research and others. We need also to purchase and maintain relevant tools such as Web of Science, the Journal Citation Report, and Scopus, and others. And finally, we need to collect and record results, research outputs of all researchers in a department, school, as it may be. And this is usually based on the need of researchers. Again, I got this list from the paper I published in 2018 in Sagilis. Lastly, I think this is my second last slide. I think I should skip this because some of these strategies I've already indicated them on the previous slide. Now, you will allow me just shortly to tell you about Scopus. The Scopus has become a very good tool from where we get metrics, research metrics, citation metrics for researchers, and it's because it's free, and people tend to like it because it collects a lot of. I mean, it gives a higher citation rate because of the breadth and the scope, and it is scope on the web. Unlike the other citation indexes, like Web of Science, which has got a lot of biases. I mean, not a lot, but has got biases, and even Scopus. So I thought I should just show you a little bit on how this one works. Let me open the Publish or Perish software and share it with you quickly. Sorry, I think I'm sharing a wrong thing. Let me share this. Sorry about that, colleagues. Let me try to look for it. Colleagues, can you see my screen on your end?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Now, there's a software that we call the Publish or Perish software. This software helps me or us and others to find or to examine or assess individual authors' research output and citations using Google Scholar data. It uses Google Scholar data, or it can also use Scopus. But when you click on Scopus, it takes you to the subscription site. Site for you to subscribe and link it to this software for it to work. And it is a very tedious process. So I don't use this one to go to Scopus because I can directly go to Scopus. But I want just to show you how you can use this software to check how somebody has performed in Google Scholar. And Google Scholar is this whatever here. So you can use Google Scholar. You can search by scholar profile. That is, if the person has got a scholar profile, a Google Scholar profile, you copy that link and you paste it on the search here on this. I'm not going to show that for now. Then you copy that link to the Google, to this software, Publish or Perish, and then you click search, and it will give you all the whatevers. But I'll show you a little bit later about that. But let me just show you how this mines data from Google Scholar. If I go to Google Scholar here and click Google Scholar, it asks me if I want to search by author or the publication name. Publication name here, it is about the journal. It's not about the title of an article. And I can also search by keywords or title keywords. But let me just search for my name, Obi Onyancha. Colleagues, are you able to see still? Elaine, are you able to see still?
Yes, we can still see.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So it is searching, and it searches and gives you a maximum of 1,000 records or results. In this one, I want just to see, but it finishes. It tells me that Obi Onyancha has authored 189, or there are 189 results that belong to that is Obi Onyancha, but that may not be true because it may pick something that is not necessarily a publication, because on the web there are so many things that we do, and sometimes it even duplicates. For instance, let me show you this paper here. Or this first one is in the UNISA institutional repository. But if you go down, you'll find it again. If the journal where I published this paper is online, it will pick that again and with the journal name. So you have got to be very careful about this data when you see it, because you cannot immediately say that Professor Onyancha has published 189 papers, because that's what you saw on the web, on this side. You see now the publication years, it even says that I started publishing from 1735. I was not born in 1735. I mean, before that. So it means that there's a paper here which it picked and it has a wrong date on it, or yeah, I think it's a wrong date. I checked that some time back and found that it's the wrong date that it has on it. And that's why it shows from 1935. So you edit that and then give that information to the researcher. Let me show you how you can then copy these results. Let's say that you have removed the duplicates like this. The moment you remove, you uncheck, this one also changes. You see now it is 183 here from 189. So if I continue removing, it even changes even the number of citations, the authors per paper, my H index and the G index changes. So you remove that. Once you remove those that are duplicates and that also with those that don't belong to me, you come here and copy the results. You can save the results or copy the results. If I come here and copy the results, there are so many ways of copying the results. And colleagues, I can do this workshop at a later stage. I just want to show you briefly how we can do this using Publish or Perish and Google Scholar data. Then you can come here and say, you need the metrics with headers, meaning the headers, for instance, publication years, it will show papers, it will be, those are the headers, cites per year, citations per paper, so that below it you can see that. So I want to go here and show the results for Excel with headers. I just copy, and it will not show you that it has copied. But if you go to Excel, let me just open Excel, and that will be my last demonstration because of that. You go to Excel. I want to open Excel. Sorry, colleagues. And then I share Excel, the Excel database. I mean, the Excel software. I think you guys, you can see. Elaine?
Yes, we can see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to quickly then paste what I copied. If I press Control and V, it has that, and now it has got the column number 1. If I may expand it a bit, I mean enlarge it. Column number 1 is about citations. the authors who are in that paper, the title for that paper, the year of publication, the source of that publication. If you move down, you'll see the source, but these other ones, they don't show because it is in the institutional repository. The publisher, it will show you the article URL, the GS, the Google Scholar rank, it will show you, and it will tell you whether it's a book or a citation, or it is a journal article. Where it doesn't show journal article, it's a journal article. And then others, it will also show you the sites per year, sites per author, the authors the number of authors in that paper. Like now it tells me that paper number 1, it has only 1 author. The paper number 2, it's 6 authors, but I'm not very sure that that is true, but we need to check that. So you need to check that and confirm, and then provide these statistics to the author. Now, I think that should be my last comment. I mean, that should be my last, let me just check whether it's actually the last slide before I conclude. Let me see, I want just to, where is Zoom? Okay, and then I share my presentation, and yeah, I want to finish here. Okay, I think that should be my, okay, these ones are the workshops that I want to line up for purposes of capacitating academic librarians and even researchers. I think that we need to do this as academics, and together we can work together with the librarians who are also knowledgeable in this area, and we conduct these workshops. Lastly, I want just to conclude and say this. And these are not my words, but the words of 2 authors that I've come to admire. That is, one is why I think that the ordinary librarians should remain involved in the bibliometrics scene. If we can understand bibliometric measures and significant developments in the field, then not only will we be able to pass knowledge on to our user community, but it is also a sign that such measures can be understood by all academics who might need to understand them. The other one is from Rice Lively and Racine. They say this: the changing nature of the environment demands a commitment to lifelong learning, with academic librarians being more self-directed and self-motivated to develop new skills that will enable them the fullest use of new technology and resources. And one of those resources and tools is Bibliometrics and Altmetrics. And I want to thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Onyancha, for a very informative and interesting presentation. I think you've covered the topic extremely well and in a lot of detail. And yeah, it's really given us a lot of information and food for thought. So thank you very much for availing yourself and giving us this presentation today. I'm just going to go now to our chat and just see if there were any questions. Okay, yes, Marupeni just asked about what is the title or position of a librarian at UNISA who provides this bibliometric service. So I just did reply to him and said that we are known as personal librarians, but it's the same as faculty or subject librarians. I think at different institutions, different libraries, academic libraries, they have different names for those librarians. And then Denise Nicholson just asked, related to that publish or perish that you were showing us. She asked if you can search, for an author, for a researcher, using the ORCID ID, the ORCID number. And then let me just see. the most are just thanking you. And then the other question was from Mafeno. Does LIASA have CPD points system for the profession? Which, as far as I know, it does. So let me just see. And then Linda asked, is Publish or Perish a free downloadable product? So the one question was about the ORCID number. Can you search by the ORCID ID or ORCID number? And then, okay, LIASA does have CPD points for the profession. I know that. And then in terms of Publish or Perish, is it a free software? Thanks.
Okay, no, thank you so much, Lynn, and thank you, Denise. It's good to know to see you here, Denise. I do appreciate your question. Not at the moment. The Publish or Perish does search within the Crossref. You can give it. You can link it to Crossref, Google Scholar, PubMed, OpenAlex, Scopus, Semantic Scholar, and Web of Science. Now, it hasn't been linked to ORCID, and it's one area that I've also asked the developer. She's called Hazing, Professor Hazing, and she told me that they are waiting for opportunities, a grant that will help update this software to be used more widely with other tools like ORCID and even Research ID and all that. But for now, it does not allow that. The other thing that I think you asked about is, thank you, fascinating. What was it again, Lynn? Let me just, I'm also scrolling down.
Yes, you just wanted to know whether Publish or Perish is a software that is free to download.
Yes, it is free to download for MacBook, for Windows also. So be careful which one you download, because there are two versions there. If you have got Windows, please Windows operating system on your computer, download for Windows, and if it's MacBook or MacBook operating system OS, then download the one for MacBook. Yeah, that is it. And then I don't know whether you're going to look at that, Lynn. There's that question about what do you call this? Offering workshops for different, for faculty in different libraries. I will say that that colleagues get in touch if you wish to have us speak to faculty to tell them how they can also use these these works together. I think my emphasis will be, and I see that is the emphasis, that the person writing the question also. I just want to make sure that I pronounce the name correctly, and also even yeah, it's Kosi. Kosi, I don't know who Kosi is, but Kosi, thank you for that question. The emphasis which you have put there is very right, very correct, and very appropriate. In collaboration with the library, I think, for me, I believe in the library and librarians and academic librarians in particular, collaborating with people who are academics like us, like me, to do those workshops, because librarians have got skills that sometimes academics don't have. I have the skill because I worked in the library for 12 years as a deputy librarian, and I was in charge of, we were only 2 qualified librarians. And so most of the reference queries used to come to me, and that's how I came to be a little bit skilled in matters of searching and retrieval and use of databases. So, but of late, there could be some things that I don't know, because subject librarians, current subject librarians, may know better than I do. And that's why I'm saying that such workshops should be offered in collaboration between librarians and academics. And you have captured it very well, Kosi, that we need to organize such workshops in collaboration with the librarians as academics. So if you have a situation whereby you want us to do that, not only workshops, but also even a one-day kind of seminar with the faculty and other groups, please reach out to us. But we're also starting short learning programs soon in collaboration between the UNISA library and the academic department of library, and information science, to organize workshops, and those workshops will be credit bearing. And then we can also, and because of their credit bearing, then you can even produce those certificates for purposes of promotion if you want to, or for recognition in your library. That's why we want them to be credit bearing. Sorry for taking that long to answer that one question, but I think that's what I could say in regard to that question, Lane. And thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Onyancha. Yes, I just wanted to mention about that question about the CPD points. I know that they say, you know, the LIASA office always says that when you register for any LIASA webinar, such as this one, it's important that you sign into your LIASA profile, or create one if you haven't already got a profile, because then the system will pick up and allocate those CPD points to you. So it's important that you do actually log into your profile when you are registering for any LIASA event. I just want to check here. I see Margaret says, other than the Publish or Perish platform, which other platforms are used to measure the G index? And then Malosa just says, when are you planning to roll out those workshops, the credit-bearing ones? Thanks.
Colleagues, I was talking to myself, sorry about that. The G index can be calculated even by Scopus. And this is one area that we also want to appreciate. Google Scholar provides it, but some databases don't provide it, and there are no free softwares that you can use like this Publish or Perish. What we can do is we can show you on how to calculate that G index. The G index is an upgrade or an updated metric of the H index, and people say that the G index seems to be a better metric than H index, and that's why some people prefer G index to H index, because the G index gives them a higher value than the H index. So, but we can show you on how to do that mathematically, and it is a very simple, very not simple, but basic procedure or basic formula that we can use to do that. I don't know whether I've answered that question, but let me go to, I think there was another one you had. Oh, when are we rolling out these workshops? We are working with the library at the moment, and we were thinking that we should roll out these workshops from next year. I'm not very sure which part of next year. I mean, which part of next year, which month of next year. But all that I can tell you is that we have submitted the what we call the module forms, workshop forms, and they have been accepted and approved at Senate at UNISA. They need to be registered in the system with the credit bearing and everything else. But we need also to revise some of those workshops because we submitted them some time back. And after that, we will then develop materials. And we are hoping that we can have them both online and offline so that we can reach a higher number of people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Nyansha, for answering those questions. I don't see any other questions in the chat, so and we are almost at 3 o'clock now. So I just want to close this webinar by thanking all of you, and especially Prof. Nyansha, thank you for your for your wonderful presentation and for accepting our invitation to come today to share your expertise and your insights with us. Just before we close and say goodbye to everybody, I just wanted to take this opportunity for those of you that are attending this webinar today and that are also RETIG members. We've got our RETIG AGM coming up next week on Wednesday between 11 and 1 o'clock. It is on the LIASA calendar and there's a link there to register. So please do come and support us and attend the AGM, so that we can form a quorum and you can also be updated on the events that have taken place this year and plans going forward. So I just wanted to take that opportunity to remind you all. And just a special thanks to everybody who attended today. And especially also a big thank you to Afalela at the LIASA office, who is hosting the Zoom, the Zoom meeting for us, and for all the hard work that he does in, sending out emails and just being available for our events. And yes, and then thank you, Marapene, as well for your inputs. And yes, and I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you at the LIASA conference coming up soon. And thank you and goodbye. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you.